Welcome into another episode of Mood Swings with Liv Moods. I'm Liv Moods, and as always, this is presented by Landmark Lincoln. Shout out to our friends over at Landmark Lincoln. Make sure you head to their location off of Bellevue and Broadway. I'm sorry, I was going to say Lincoln. It's not off of Lincoln, but it is Landmark Lincoln. Off of Bellevue and Broadway, head to their location and figure out why they have been the #1 Lincoln dealer in Colorado for as long as they have. I am a proud new owner of a 2025 Lincoln Nautilus. Could not love my car more, but enough about vehicles. Let's get into the show. Welcome in, everyone, to another episode of Mood Swings with Liv Moods. I don't know if you guys can see me. It looks like our camera is being finicky here, but you guys can probably hear me. So that's all that matters. We're going to keep chatting for just a moment. And then we're going to get right back into things, right back into the swing of the show. So give me just 2 seconds while we figure this out. In the meantime, you guys, we are going to be discussing a few things on this show today. We're going to talk a little NBA, obviously the NFL, as well as we get a little bit closer to the playoffs. We're starting to get a better understanding of the playoff picture. But all that to say, there still is some time for things to get shook up a little bit, for things to be changed. I mean, we've seen a different playoff picture every single Tuesday, really, following Monday Night Football. We have seen a new version of the playoff picture just about every single Tuesday this season. So I anticipate more changes as this week goes on. There's a lot of playoff implications at play here for not just the AFC, but also the NFC. Before we get into all things NFL, though, first, let me just give this a little quote tweet and let everybody know we are live. I'm not going to say we, it's just me. I am live. Come hang. Okay, guys, my typical little post there. I also hope you guys had a wonderful and Merry Christmas and holiday season. The new year is around the corner. Get in the comment section. Let me know what your New Year's resolution is. Mine is just my health. We're going to eat at home a little bit more. I'm going to drink less wine. That's a hard one, guys. That one's going to be tough for me. But just getting my health in order, which is perfect because I have a wedding in about 6 months. So it's due time. Wedding body. We're definitely running out of time here for me to get my life together. So first and foremost, I want to talk a little bit about the Denver Nuggets. More importantly, I want to talk about Nikola Jokić. I just don't want us to dismiss what is happening with Nikola Jokić, okay? Because while he does this very consistently, he's starting to make what he does look normal, but let's not forget that it is not. It is not normal what Nikola Jokić does every time he's on a basketball court. He is unlike anything that we have ever seen. And what a privilege it is to watch Nikola Jokić play basketball. And I just don't want us to ever forget that it is a privilege to watch Nikola Jokić play basketball. I think when you've got a center who's now the all-time assist leader, who's averaging a triple-double, who has a true shooting percentage that hovers around 60 to 70%, and triple-doubles seem to be kind of easy for him, it starts to feel normal what he does. It's not. It never will be normal what Nikola Jokić does. And quite frankly, it's not even close who the best player in the NBA is. It is Nikola Jokić by a landslide. And what's really interesting about this, too, is that he has been building that case for the last now 6 seasons straight. This is not new. He's not new to this. He's true to this, okay? And I'm just happy to see other people finally tucking their tail and saying, all right, the ring culture thing is getting a little out of control. He's won a championship. I know I was moving the goalposts and saying he needs to win 3, 4, 5 more before I pay him the respect that he deserves. But I think now those people are starting to understand Nikola Jokić is one of one. It's not even close what he does. Like I said, he's been building the case for being the best player in the NBA for about 6 seasons straight now. What we're watching with him this season is honestly peak performance, which I don't think any of us anticipated, because you would assume he's already been in his peak, right? He's won MVP 3 times. And we've seen what we would consider at that time the best of the best. He's only getting better, and that is what makes him so impressive. A 56-point triple-double just the other night. It is not normal what he does, you guys. It is not normal what he does. I want to talk a little bit about why he is a player that you can consider an all-time great despite only having won 1 championship. We are over this. I'm not going to buy into or play into this ring culture any longer. Let it go. Nikola Jokić, 29.9 points per game. That is higher than Shaquille O'Neal's best season, an all-time great. We talk about Shaquille O'Neal like he is an all-time great because he is. And currently, Nikola Jokic is averaging more than Shaq was at his best, okay? 12.4 rebounds per game, higher than Karl Malone's best season. 11.1 assists per game, higher than Jason Kidd's best season. 60.4% from the field, higher than Tim Duncan's best season. We got to let go of this ring culture thing, guys. I got to tell you, it's getting old. The argument's old. He has won a championship. Before winning a championship, the argument was, oh, I need to see him win a championship first, and then maybe I'll consider him top 20, top 25. We're talking about Nikola Jokic. He is an all-time great, not just center, but player, period, okay? And we just talked about all the other all-time greats that I just discussed. Nikola Jokic is doing that in every statistical category. He has led for the last decade in points, rebounds, assists. I mean, this guy is unnatural what he does every time he plays basketball. So we are no longer waiting to give Nikola Jokic the credit he deserves. We're not going to wait until he has 2, 3, 4, 5 rings. I said this a couple of weeks ago. I'm bored of that conversation. He is an all-time great. We're going to have that conversation right now because we're seeing it right now, okay? And I think the important piece about Nikola Jokic is when you have a player of this caliber, a generational talent, an all-time great on your team, success is always possible. Anything is possible when you have Nikola Jokic. That's one thing I know for sure about this NBA season so far. We have a Denver Nuggets team that is not in full health. Okay, Cam Johnson just went out with a knee injury. You've got CB, who's been missing for some time. You've got Aaron Gordon, who's been out for some time. When you have Nikola Jokic, anything is possible. That's the beautiful thing about having an all-time great on your team. The Nuggets are the third best team in the Western Conference behind two very stacked rosters in OKC and the San Antonio Spurs. What have we learned about OKC? Well, they can be beat. By who? Well, right now, the Spurs, which means the Spurs are very dangerous and they should scare most people. They just certainly scare me because Wemby could make a case in his own right for being one of the top, if not just behind Nikola Jokic as the best player in the NBA right now. Okay, the Nuggets are not at their peak performance yet, but like I said, when you have a player of Nikola Jokic's caliber, you are always in contention to win a championship. You are always in contention to go toe-to-toe with any team in a 7-game series in the postseason. We are seeing something with this Denver Nuggets team that, despite the injuries to this starting lineup, I think for the most part, we're feeling kind of calm about it, right? Like we're not super stressed in this moment because we know you've got Jokic. And we know we're getting Jamal Star Murray this season. And you know that you're going to get Aaron Gordon back. He's going to deliver. You're going to get CB back. He's going to continue to be dangerous in transition. And Cam Johnson was just finally starting to get his rhythm and kind of develop as a player here on this very team. He was getting double-doubles. It's a really fun team right now. It's a really talented team right now. They're still third in the Western Conference, and they have a lot of missing pieces that they have yet to get back. So I think the important piece with this Denver Nuggets team is, especially on this long road game stretch, you just want to maintain good standing in the Western Conference because we know just how competitive, hyper competitive the Western Conference can be and will likely be all season long, that you really want to make sure that you're still in good standing without those 3 starters so that when those 3 starters come back, you can just start coasting through the West. That is obviously the ultimate goal. So I would love to see this Denver Nuggets team just continue to keep their good standing in the Western Conference, win some games here and there. Even without their starters, they're finding ways to win. And that's because you're getting something out of Nikola Jokic that is just special. It's special. And the only thing I really, really encourage you to not do is to take for granted watching Nikola Jokic, because it is an honor and it is a privilege to watch somebody of his caliber play basketball on any given night. He is phenomenal. He is one of one. And I don't care how many rings you think he should win in order to be an all-time great. He is one. Read it and weep. Okay, there, done. All right, the Denver Nuggets. Shout out to the Denver Nuggets. Like I said, keep that good standing going because the West is a bloodbath, and it always has been, and it likely always will be. Okay, let's talk about Bo Nix. Oh my gosh, not this again, Liv. Oh yes, it's my show. I can talk about whatever I please, and I'm going to talk about Bo Nix again. You know why? I still think we need to crank the volume up a little when we talk about Bo Nix, I'm afraid. I think we still need a little bass in our voice when we speak about Bo Nix immediately. Thank you so kindly. Here's the deal. Was I happy with the Broncos-Chiefs game? No. Frankly, I was pissed. I was the least merry and jolly person on the planet. Honestly, I really was. It was a win, and I had a lot of people saying, Liv, what are you so upset for? They won. Barely. Barely. Third string quarterback. I was expecting okay, you kind of got embarrassed against the Jaguars, right? So now we're going to tidy things up. We're going to polish things a little bit, get you back on your feet. You're going to dominate versus this Chiefs team who's barely playing anyone, right? Like they didn't have anything to play for. Third string quarterback. What are we doing? And, in typical Denver Broncos fashion, I'm on the edge of my seat. My palms are sweating. I'm nervous. This is what happened. So, yeah, no, I'm not happy about that game. Not even a little tiny little bit. Nope. Not one little bit. It was not very Merry Christmas of them, was it? It wasn't. But here's the deal. What we need to stop doing immediately, like really, really fast, if you wouldn't mind, we do not get to pick and choose when we make the quarterback position the most important position. Because when the Broncos are struggling offensively, you are quick with swiftness to blame Bo Nix. And we do this across the board. The quarterback position, you ask most casual football fans what position is the most important, they will say quarterback. But you don't get to choose when it's the most important, right? So if this Denver Broncos team currently sitting at the top of the AFC and they've officially won the AFC West, and you still don't have any bass in your voice when you're talking about Bo Nix, why is that? Why is that? Because some of you have more bass in your voice for teams that aren't in playoff contention than you do for the team that's the best in the AFC. Why is that? I don't like it. I don't like it. The quarterback position is the most important to you until it's no longer convenient for you, and it doesn't serve its purpose for your argument. You want to claim all day long that Bo Nix is not the quarterback that he should be, and he's not good enough, and he's overrated, yet he is leading a team that is the top of the AFC. What? Is Bo Nix perfect? No. Never claimed he was. Go watch my footage. I have film. It lives on YouTube. Go watch it. I've never once claimed that he is a perfect quarterback, but my point is, if you're going to claim that the quarterback position is the most important, then you absolutely should have some bass in your voice for the team that is sitting at the top of the AFC, right? I would say so. How many seasons, despite not making the playoffs or being a first-round exit, have we spent trying to convince ourselves of Justin Herbert's greatness? We talk about it every year. He's him. Okay, but if you're going to hold Bo Nix to the standard of, well, we need to see you make a deep playoff run first. We need to see more. We need to see you win a Super Bowl. We need to see this. If we're going off of that, if it's all about the postseason, which is what you haters have said all season long, oh, we'll see, right? You're waiting for your moment to be right. Your I told you so moment. If that's the case, and that's what you're waiting for to determine Bo Nix's greatness, then why do we have so many conversations about Justin Herbert being great? Right? Because you could make a case as well that Bo Nix, no run game around him this season. That's an insurance policy for a quarterback. A good, solid, reliable run game. He doesn't have that. So when it's time for the offense to win a football game, guess who it's on? Solely Bo Nix. So he is leading a team that's only lost 3 times this season, and yet we still don't have any bass in our voice to give him credit for what he's done this year. Again, we're picking and choosing when the quarterback is the most important position. We're not going to do that. We're going to keep the same energy. Even when it's ugly, he's finding ways to win, and this is what he's done. Okay? Bo Nix won the AFC West before Justin Herbert did. Through 6 seasons in the NFL, Justin Herbert has not been able to win the AFC West. Bo Nix did it in his 2nd season. Where's the bass in the voice? Let's get to it. Did you know Bo Nix also is the only quarterback in NFL history to win 20-plus games, have 7,500 plus passing yards and 50 plus passing touchdowns in his first 2 seasons. Again, where's the bass in the voice? That's all I'm asking. You don't have to think Bo Nix is perfect, but some of you even struggle to give him credit at all. That's what's weird to me. That's what I don't appreciate, because I hear a lot of people talking about Justin Herbert and how great he is, but then simultaneously needing to see more from Bo Nix in the postseason to believe he's great. When have you really seen that from Justin Herbert? And I'm not shading Justin Herbert. I'm just saying, if you're going to use that against Bo Nix, then you should probably use it against Justin Herbert as well. Because despite how great we think Justin Herbert is, has he made it all the way yet? Has he won the AFC West yet? He hasn't. Bo Nix has. Okay, and there's been a lot of injuries to this team. This team has had to overcome quite a few injuries this season, and it's been a very frustrating time. You know, you lose a lot of very important and valuable pieces, and you're not getting perfect offense through 4 quarters. We know that. But when the game is on the line, there's a lot of quarterbacks in this league that can rely on their run game to help them win offensively. The Broncos don't have a reliable run game. No, their offense is Bo Nix. That's the truth. The offense is Bo Nix. So the fact that despite through ugly quarters of offense, right? Because we've seen a lot of those this season. We're not running from that. Broncos fans will tell you that. Yeah, there's been some ugly quarters of offense this season. Despite all that, though, they've still only lost 3 games. So again, I just wonder, at what point can you no longer move the goalpost with Bo Nix, right? And what's it going to take for you to just accept that he wins football games? It may not be in the fashion that you like. It may not be the cleanest and the cutest win, but he's winning. Okay? He won. The AFC West belongs to the Denver Broncos this season, something that Justin Herbert has not been able to do through 6 seasons in the NFL. Bo Nix in 2 seasons. That's the other thing. Guys, this is season number 2 for Bo. You're awfully critical of a guy that's still learning, you know? Like, this is season 2. Okay? So, you know, I just think the critics, you are entitled to your opinion, you know? Nick Wright, you are entitled to believe that the Chiefs and the Raiders will be the 2 best teams in the AFC West, and they will make the playoffs, and the Chargers and Broncos will be at the bottom. You're entitled to that. You're wrong, but you're entitled to that opinion. Yes, that was his prediction at the beginning of the season. Chiefs, Raiders making the playoffs, Chargers, Broncos. Ooh. Maybe flip it upside down. You're a little closer. Yeah, it's true. Okay. So you're entitled to your opinion. I would just appreciate if there were a time or two that we tucked our tail and acknowledged, you know what? He's not perfect. He doesn't play perfect football, but damn, he knows how to win, because he does. Did you hear that little stat earlier? First in NFL history. I mean, come on, guys. Okay. Just give a little credit. That's all I ask. This is a quarterback that does not have the same insurance policy as most quarterbacks in the NFL. The run game, it's rough. Losing J.K. Dobbins was tough on this Broncos offense. And still, Bo Nix has found ways to win football games and get the job done. As ugly as you think it may be, and you think maybe, just maybe, that will bite them in the behind when it comes to the playoffs, you know, while you're so negatively thinking, a lot of you are glass half empty, and I'm over it. Okay, if I want to look at the glass half full version of the Denver Broncos, it's, yeah, they found a lot of ways to win ugly games, which a lot of people who don't know ball credit to luck. But to me, it's skilled. It's a skill in its own right to be able to, despite an ugly game, stay alive and get a win when it matters the most. That, to me, is the Denver Broncos' secret weapon, actually. I wouldn't view that as a weakness or a flaw whatsoever. That is their strength. So, yeah, you guys, you know, it's a cool time to be a Denver Broncos fan, because at the end of the day, here's what the remainder of this season looks like. You're playing a Chargers team at home next week for week 18 to wrap up the regular season. Justin Herbert will not be playing. It has been officially ruled he is not starting, and there will be some other players alongside Justin Herbert who have some, you know, bruises and some injuries and need some rest that will not be playing. So, as we know, Denver sports notoriously play down to their competition. I don't know what it is in the Mile High City, but we love to do that. We love to make people sweat. It's looking very likely that this Denver Broncos team clinches the number 1 seed in the AFC. I know. It makes the haters sick to their stomachs. Sick. But it's true. It's looking very, very likely that the Denver Broncos will be the number 1 team in the AFC. Okay? You've got a banged up Chargers team that's going to rest Justin Herbert amongst some other starters. This should be an easy win, but then I flash myself right on back to that Chiefs game and go, yeah, this Broncos team does play down to their competition sometimes. But I do think the Broncos and Sean Payton know the value of this game and what this game means for Denver. Clinching the number 1 seed in the AFC doesn't just secure a bye week for this, a first round bye for this Denver Broncos team, but it also ensures home field advantage throughout the playoffs. And how valuable will that be? This is a team that only lost 1 time at home this season. Once. They have the best home record in the NFL. 1 game all season long is all they lost at home. They know how to protect their home field. They do. So I think they know how much is riding on this Week 18 game. I think they know it is not in their best interest to play down to their competition. But, there's also an element of, do you want to rest some of your starters as well? Well, I think when the number 1 seed is on the line, maybe not so much. You just want to get a win here. And I want to talk a little bit about, this might be a little conspiracy theory moment here, guys. Just bear with me. Sean Payton is smart. More than being smart, though, Sean Payton is calculated. Yes. Normally, if I'm calling a man calculated, I mean that in the most insulting way possible. Yes, it's true. But in this case, it's actually a really great thing. And it's what makes Sean Payton a really great coach. So in so many ways, Sean Payton, as we know, has historically been, named a stubborn individual, which, again, it works for him, right? He's a successful coach, so it works for him. I think in so many ways, Sean Payton, looking at this season and knowing, of course, that there's room to grow, there's room to improve. Even when they win, there's things that they should improve upon. All of that, yes, of course. That being said, though, Sean Payton is also the type of guy where, we got the win. So I don't really care to hear all that much feedback about what went wrong because we won. That being said, if you think Sean Payton is not fully aware of what needs to be improved upon as we enter this playoff push, you're crazy. You're out of your mind. He's fully aware of what needs to be changed in order for this Broncos team to make a deep playoff run. There is a world in which, because I talk about Sean Payton being a very smart and intelligent head coach, but more than that, a calculated one. And here is the truth. I don't think Sean Payton has pulled out all the stops yet. Nope. I think there is still a little creativity there in Sean's brain, things he has not shown us yet. Plays he has drawn up. Players he will get more involved in a playoff push. Marvin Mims, perhaps. I think Marvin Mims is criminally underused on this Broncos offense. I think Sean Payton loves the fact that teams watch us versus the Chiefs and versus maybe the Chargers and the Jags and go, ooh, because he knows they weren't playing their best football, and he knows that it's a quick and easy fix. They will not do that again. I think there's a world where Sean Payton is kind of okay with these ugly wins as we get closer to the end. As long as they are still wins, he's okay with them being ugly, because then guess what happens to the public perception of the Denver Broncos? Overrated. Oh gosh, easy peasy. These guys, man, they're just getting by. They've got luck on their side. Luck will run out come playoff time. And then here comes Sean Payton. When you let your wall down and you start to get comfy, cozy, thinking the Denver Broncos, oh, we've seen them. Yeah, I'm not worried. And that's when he strikes. And that's when he strikes the hardest. So there is a world, you guys, where I truly believe Sean Payton has been okay with some of these very hideous games. a little too close for comfort, offense not showing up until the fourth, all the things that go wrong. He's okay so long as it results in a win. And it has been outside of Jags. The Jags, they simply just got outplayed. And I think that was kind of a really good and healthy wake-up call for not only Sean Payton, but also for the Denver Broncos. Like, okay, you can't cut it too close now because you'll lose those games. But I think there's a world where in this regular season play, in these final few games of this season, Sean Payton is really okay with people thinking this Broncos team is overrated. Because he knows they're not. And he knows he hasn't pulled out all the stops yet. And he knows there's still plays that he wants to call. And there's still players he wants to get more involved offensively. He knows this. So I'm just saying, I think it's easy to look at this Broncos team and go, oh gosh, after watching the Jags game and watching the Chiefs game, no worries. Keep thinking that, honestly, because I genuinely believe that will only benefit Denver, especially if they get that home field advantage. They're the best home team in the NFL right now. So the Broncos are positioned perfectly at the moment to have the number 1 seed in the AFC. And in doing so, they secure a first-round bye, and they have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. And what a beautiful thing, given how difficult it is to play in the Mile High City. Sean Payton, don't you forget, is not just a smart coach, but a calculated one. He loves the fact that you think his squad is overrated, because he will use that against you. Yes, he will. And I can't wait to see it. My only ask, honestly, this season is let's get Marvin Mims more involved in the postseason, please and thank you. Love that. Love that. Would love that, actually. Cedric had a little comment here, and Cedric says, we got to beat the L Patriots, Olivia. I hope we do. Have a good New Year's. Plus, come to Vegas so we can watch Nuggets Summer League 2026. Let's ride. Hello, Cedric. Yeah, the Patriots, man, they're going to be a problem for sure. We're going to get into that in just a little bit. I've got some teams I want to talk about in terms of kind of the playoff picture. But I just need one moment really quick to just feel sorry for myself, guys. I had the most exquisite and stunning and beautiful parlay of all time. I boosted it preseason. It was stunning. It was everything that I wanted and more. Boosted it from plus 4,213 odds to plus 6,319 odds. You know what I needed? I needed the Denver Broncos to win the AFC West. I needed the Jacksonville Jaguars to win the AFC South, which I'm feeling pretty good about. And I needed the Rams. I needed the Rams to win the NFC West, and it was looking real good all season long. Until it wasn't. Yeah. Until the San Francisco 49ers won last night, and my dreams were officially crushed. Yeah. So not feeling great about that. I was about to turn $10 into $641. Yep. And another little heartbreaking moment because I just need to feel sorry for myself for another second. I did a little parlay preseason, boosted those odds from plus 1,200 to plus 1,800. And it was regular season receiving yards, 1,000 plus for Trey McBride. Check. Zay Flowers. Check. And then, of course, none other than Devontae Adams, who has not played over the last couple of weeks. Yeah. So salt in the wound a bit. Not feeling super great about that, but it's okay. We move on. I still have alive and well. Guys, this one's still active. Make or miss the playoffs. I made a parlay and boosted that as well. Vikings to miss. Check. Bears to make. Check. And the Steelers to miss. So what I really need this coming Sunday is for the Ravens to beat the Steelers. And then I can walk away with a little moo-la-la on that one. Okay? So there you go. I didn't do horribly bad this year in the futures market. I didn't. I did pretty stinking good. My predictions were for the most part correct. The Rams really should have won their division. That's just it. It's the truth. And they didn't. And they dropped the ball, and therefore now I'm upset. Okay, moving on. We got to talk about what's going on with Maxx Crosby. More importantly, what's going on with the Las Vegas Raiders. Here's the deal. Pick a struggle, Raiders. Pick a struggle. You've got a lot going on, and I get it, right? Every team kind of has to do that battle of, do we tank? Do we not? What should we do? If you're unfamiliar with what happened with Maxx Crosby, here it is. 2 games left in the season. The Las Vegas Raiders placed Maxx Crosby on IR. Well, then Maxx Crosby took to social media, jumping on a trampoline, playing basketball, basically putting his middle finger up and saying, I'm not injured. Despite what this team is about to tell you, me being placed on IR, I am not injured. I'm ready. I wanted to play. I was ready to play. Rumors are saying he left the facility. He was so frustrated when they told him he was being placed on IR. Is this timing a coincidence? I'm afraid not. Last week, Maxx Crosby made it very clear in the locker room post-game where he stood on his opinions regarding the draft position for the Raiders. He basically said, I don't care. That's not what I play football for. Alluding to the fact that he had no intentions of tanking this season. He was going to still give it his all, play at a high level, and try to win football games. That's what he said. So conveniently, the following week, he's placed on IR. It's almost like Maxx Crosby was getting in their way of tanking the season. Here's my problem with it, okay? Here's my big problem with it. The Raiders should be very careful how they move when they have a generational talent like Maxx Crosby who wants to win. He's a winner. He's a competitor. This isn't just a job. It's a passion of his. And you see that every time he steps foot on a football field. He wanted to play. Now, you've placed him on IR when he's fully healthy. He showed us that. I mean, maybe not fully healthy, but healthy enough to play. If he's healthy enough to jump on a trampoline and play basketball, pretty sure he could be on the football field. And that's kind of what his Instagram was letting us know. Hey, FYI, I'm good, despite what they're going to tell you. When you have a generational talent on your team like Maxx Crosby, regardless of the circumstances, be very careful being okay with losing. Now, I understand the principle, right? You don't have to explain it to me. They want to tank their season because they value a good draft position. They want a good draft pick. Here's the deal, though. Getting a good draft pick is step 1. There is no guarantee that that works out for you because step 2 is knowing how to use that draft pick. And I'm afraid the Raiders haven't really proven that they know what they're doing. Let's be real. Okay, there's a lot of things going on. There's a whole lot of issues that need to be addressed. So here you are frustrating your generational talent who wants to win football games because you're tanking your season wanting to get a good draft pick. And who's to say you utilize that draft pick and it turns your season around? There's a lot of issues within this organization and this franchise. There is no guarantee that a good draft position changes everything for you and makes everything better. It's not going to. Because at the end of the day, what you're showing Maxx Crosby, and I think what an issue that the Raiders have faced for quite some time, is establishing and building a winning culture. You kind of being a liar and sticking him on IR in order to tank your season because he's standing in your way, your best and most valuable player, I might add, isn't really reflective of a winning culture. It's not. And I just think you need to be very, very careful how you move when it comes to a guy like Maxx Crosby, because it seems like right now you guys are speaking 2 different languages. And it's only a matter of time before he wants out of there. Because again, getting a good draft pick is only step 1. Step 2 is knowing how to use it. And I'm afraid if there is a team that I don't really trust when it comes to utilizing their talent or knowing how to make good business decisions or making the right decisions, it's not there. I wouldn't go for the Raiders, that's for sure. They're not a team I necessarily trust to be doing all that. So, I don't know. If I were Maxx Crosby, I would want to be out of there quick. And how disappointing, right? That the potential hopeful draft pick that you don't even know about yet, that you don't even have yet, that you don't even have a plan in order to utilize. You don't have anything in motion there. You've potentially ticked off your generational talent, best player on your roster for the likes of a potential draft pick that you're hoping will save your franchise. In order for a draft pick to save your franchise, you have to have a front office that's functioning correctly. And I would argue the Raiders don't have that and haven't had that for some time. Okay? So, strange way to move. Maxx Crosby is a competitor. He's a winner. He wants to win. He wants to play. I'm not sure you're barking up the right tree here, Raiders. I don't know. Strange thing to do. And I think Maxx Crosby responded in a way that was appropriate. And for that, I just want the best for him. Really quickly, guys, I didn't realize my amazing, amazing producer, Andy, had my parlays actually drawn up. So let me just show you what I'm talking about here. Parlay 1. Okay? This is what I'm talking about here. I need the Ravens to beat the Steelers on Sunday so that this can cash. So this is the one that's still alive. Here's the one that's not still alive. Parlay 2. Ouch. Rams. $10 into a potential 641. And the Rams blew it. I feel good about the Jags. I think the Jags are going to take their division. I do feel good about that. I believe they play the Titans in their final game. As long as they win that, they're sitting at the top of their division. I feel good about the Jags. Broncos, already done. Rams failed me miserably. And I boosted this thing, and it was beautiful, and I was feeling so good about it until I wasn't. And then finally, ouch. Trey McBride, check. Zay Flowers, check. Devontae Adams, injured. Oh. And guys, he would have hit 1,000. Let's be real. The way that Matthew Stafford is dishing that ball, I mean, he would have hit 1,000. But he didn't. So there you go. Devastation. Just feel sorry for me for half a second and then we'll move on. Okay, let's move on. Where do we stand? My weekly standings. Woo, woo, woo. We haven't done these in actually kind of a little bit of time. It's been a while. So we are going to talk about playoff potential. As we know, the playoff picture has kind of evolved and changed a million times. And it will probably continue to until next Monday. Next Monday, we'll have a lot of clarity and we'll know what's going on. But right now, there's still some stipulations and some things that could shake some things up in terms of that playoff picture. But I'm going to give you my top 5 in terms of playoff potential. The teams that we know for sure are making the playoffs and how far I see them going. And I actually only gave you a few words to give my reason why. Okay? So we're going to start at 5. 5 for the playoff potential is the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I've got one word for you: momentum. They have it right now. Yes, they started to figure things out just in the nick of time. Trevor Lawrence found his own little mojo and momentum. But momentum at this stage of the season is huge. Huge. And I would argue this is a team that probably has some of the most right now. So I've got the Jacksonville Jaguars at 5. One word: momentum. Okay, at 4. The Los Angeles Rams, and they would have been higher because they've been higher on my list throughout the last few weeks. They would be higher, but I do think that we've started to see some vulnerabilities, some holes, some things that make them a beatable squad. I think this is going to be the year of defense. So there's some teams that I have above the Los Angeles Rams solely because of defense purposes. I think defense wins championships, and we're going to start seeing that on full display even more so in the playoffs. But 2 words for you here, and that's Matthew Stafford. Yeah. You're always good for a championship, I think, when you've got Matthew Stafford throwing the ball. It's the truth. So because of Matthew Stafford, I will continue to have faith in this Rams team, but maybe not enough to put them any higher at this given moment. At 3. The Denver Broncos. Duh. Oh, God. Here she goes. She's a homer. Yes, I can be. This is the number 1 team in the AFC as it stands, okay? So I'm allowed to be a homer. Thank you. It's not like I'm a homer and they're like 9-8. It's not that. No. They quite literally are the number 1 team in the AFC. They won the AFC West. What do you want? This is a great squad, despite what you think. And I got 3 words for you when it comes to this team, all pending on being the number 1 seed in the AFC. Home field advantage. It's going to be huge for Denver. It is hard to play in the Mile High City. It is. They've only lost 1 game at home this season. 1. So home field advantage is going to be massive for this Denver Broncos team, which is why I've got them at 3, because if they can solidify that number 1 seed in the AFC, which is looking very likely considering Justin Herbert is not playing next week and they're resting a lot of other starters, it's looking very likely that this is your number 1 team in the AFC, and home field advantage will do wonders for the Denver Broncos. So I've got the Broncos at 3. At 2, Seattle Seahawks. Yep. 3 words for you. Defense wins championships. And I like this defense a lot. I do. You pair that defense with a Sam Darnold, who has now proven in 2 separate seasons who he is and what he's capable of. And then you've got a young guy like JSN, who seems to just have magnets in his glove. I mean, I like this team. I think they're a force to be reckoned with. I really do. And they were kind of quiet all season. Not really, though. Like, they were still winning games, but like doing so quietly. And I think this is a team that is going to just keep winning. I do. And then at 1, the New England Patriots. They are at 1 for my playoff potential, and let me explain it really quickly. 4 words. Drake May for MVP. Yeah, guys, I think I've seen enough. I've seen what I've needed to see. I put on the, NFL games on my screen this weekend and just so happened to watch a little bit of what Drake May is capable of. And I've watched him plenty of times this season, but I think I've watched it with a lens of, Drake versus Bo type of thing. I've passed that now. This is truly an MVP. Like, he is really doing his thing, and he's doing it so consistently, despite the noise and despite people still needing to see more from him. He's just kind of risen to every occasion. He has shown up and he has played his heart out, and yeah, Drake May is something special. Got to be honest with you. He's gone toe-to-toe with Josh Allen this season. He has proven every time you've needed him to prove something, he has. And this Patriots team is pretty good. Pretty good team. And I have to give most of that credit to Drake May and what he's done this season. It's truly remarkable. And I don't think I have talked about him enough this season. So for that, I do apologize. But yeah, I've got the Patriots at 1 because Drake May is your MVP, in my humble opinion, honestly. I mean, he's doing his thing. So, there you go. Playoff potential. At 5, the Jacksonville Jaguars. At 4, the Los Angeles Rams. At 3, the Denver Broncos. At 2, the Seattle Seahawks. And at 1, the New England Patriots. There. Yeah. How did I do that? Did I start at 5 and then go back up? Anyway, forget it. I don't know what's going on with me. There you go. Playoff potential. Final little segment here. First, actually, we need to talk through Drive for Cause. That actually might be coming to an end, no? Here pretty soon. So we're going to actually skip that for now, and I'll do some research and figure out how long that is going, and we'll maybe do that next show, which will be on Friday. But for now, we're going to get into my favorite segment, and that is Driven Opinions, where I take a backseat. The backseat is a hot seat, all gas, no brakes on hot takes. My producer has come up with some prompts and some questions. I have no knowledge of what they are in advance. So again, I'm kind of in the hot seat here. This is Driven Opinions, driven by Landmark Lincoln. Okay. I think we talked about maybe doing some superlatives here for the NBA. So we're going to get into some superlatives. I don't know what they are, but we're going to think of people on the fly from the NBA, and we're going to go from there. You can start wherever you desire, Andy. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Okay, best dressed. Ooh. I am a firm believer that fashion is truly an expression of oneself, right? Like, so there's some risks that people take that other people may not be fond of, but I love if you can put something on that is out there and is strange, and you can rock it and you can wear it and you look confident and you're not letting any hater tell you shouldn't wear that, because most of these people, by the way, don't even know how expensive that Kyle Kuzma oversized big bird looking sweater is, but it's fashion. That's high fashion. And I really value players that are intentional with their outfits. I've got like a top 3. I do really like Kyle Kuzma. Like I said, I know he can be very out there, and his style's not for everybody, but I kind of dig it. I'm going to go ahead and say I've got 3 players that come to mind, and I'll go ahead and pick one by the end of it. My 3 players would be Kyle Kuzma, Russell Westbrook, and Aaron Gordon. I like that style. It's very swaggy. It's very confident. They take risks when they want to. They may not always make sense to everybody else, but I'm going to go Russell Westbrook. I know you guys are sick of hearing his name, but he is the best dressed in my humble opinion. I'm going to go Russell Westbrook, but very close second is Aaron Gordon, and then just behind him I would say is Kyle Kuzma, but for now I'm going to go Russell Westbrook for sure. Okay, next. Best locker room vibes. Oh, who's got the best vibes in the locker room? That's a good one. You know, I'm going through the Eastern Conference in my head. Nobody really comes to mind. You know what? Weirdly, doesn't the Boston Celtics locker room seem like it would be so creepy? Like, I don't think anyone would even be talking in there. I don't know. I don't picture anyone on that team, like, getting the crowd going in there. I don't think it's hype at all. Even when they're winning, it's just, like, strictly business. No one's speaking. Like, you can just hear people breathing. I don't know. That's, like, maybe my worst nightmare is being stuck in a Boston Celtics locker room. I don't know why I think that, but it just feels that way. You know what? Best locker room vibes. I'm going to go out on a little limb here. Young guy. Relatively big personality, has kind of stepped into a role where he can maybe use his voice a little more because he's got some leadership energy. I'm going to go Tyrese Maxey on this one. I think he probably brings a really eccentric and positive and hype energy, but he's also leading by example, so people are willing to listen to him. You know, he's not telling you to do something and not doing it himself. I'm going to go Tyrese Maxey on this one. Yep. Locker room vibes. He gives me, I believe he would have good locker room energy. So we'll go Tyrese Maxey. Okay, next. Best smile. Oh, goodness. Best. Oh. Peyton Watson's up there, man. He's got a great smile. Great smile on P-Watt. I mean, great smile on P-Watt. Who else would I put in the best smile category? This is a good one. You know, and here's the deal. Why your teeth look good is none of my business, but I know I can see good teeth from a mile away. And by the way, I also want to put this out there. Just because you have your teeth potentially done doesn't mean they're good. Okay. I've seen a few pairs of paid for teeth that aren't always great. P-Watt to me, great teeth. Wonderful smile, beautiful smile, very happy looking smile. So I'm going to go P-Watt as 1. And I'm going to go, who else has a good smile? Who's got a good smile? You know, they're all so serious for the most part. P-Watt comes to mind first and foremost. So I'm going to lock in that answer. And if I think of anybody else in the meantime, I will let you know. But I'm going to stick right now. I think I'm going to stick with P-Watt. Peyton Watson, wonderful smile. Maybe the best in the NBA. Do your research, but I do think he's probably up there. Okay, next superlative. Most likely to have a reality show. I mean, immediately my brain goes to Jimmy Butler because of all his antics during media day. He obviously has a great personality. He was selling coffee out of his hotel room during the bubble playoffs. I mean, the guy's just a hoot and probably a really good time. He's also got a family, you know, so I think he would be a really fun to have a reality show. And obviously, I think the most popular reality show out there would be Nikola Jokić because we all want to know more about Nikola Jokić and he doesn't allow us to know more. You know, I'd love to have a camera follow his brothers around and follow him around for a day just to see like what goes on inside Nikola Jokic's brain. So most likely to have a reality show, I would say most likely to have, we know there's no world in which Nikola Jokić would have a reality show. So because it's the most likely to have, I would say either Jimmy Butler or I mean, depends on what kind of shows you like to watch, but there's a lot you could probably talk about with Ja Morant, because he's got a lot going on and he's got a very big personality, and he just, in order to have a reality show, you just have to not really give a crap, what people think or what people want to see from you. So Ja Morant would be up there as well. And then I'd probably say, someone like Anthony Edwards as well. Big personality. He likes to talk trash. Yeah, but Jimmy Butler came to mind first because he's got such a big personality. So I'll go Jimmy Butler on that one. Okay, I think we've got 3 more. Yeah, 3 more. Most inspirational. Dang. I'm gonna go with this one's kind of out there, but you're gonna have to do your own research on this one. Kawhi Leonard has a really cool story. Um, And he just keeps to himself so much and doesn't really let people like see him get super emotional. But I know for a fact he's probably battling emotions on a daily basis. I would say Kawhi Leonard is up there as most inspirational. I'm trying to think of anyone else. You have to give a little bit of credit as well, and I don't know if this makes me necessarily feel inspired, but I have a lot of respect for it. A guy like Michael Porter Jr., with everything that he's had to deal with over the last few seasons with his siblings, and then you obviously could make a case for Aaron Gordon this season, after losing his brother. There's so many like feel good stories, honestly. But the first one that came to mind was Kawhi Leonard because he's got a pretty unique and emotional story that took place well before basketball and all the things. So yeah, I would say Kawhi Leonard. I'm gonna go with Kawhi Leonard on that one. Okay, 2 more guys, and then we're out of here. Rookie of the year. Oh gosh. I don't know. I feel like at this stage of the season, it's kind of tough for me to like the very cliche answer is probably Cooper Flag because he's really fun to watch despite the Mavs maybe not being a threat in the West and not really caring much enough to watch them. I really like Cooper Flag's game, so I'd probably say Cooper Flag, but I don't really love rookies of the year only because I'm never like it's such a star-driven league in the NBA that even if you're a really great rookie, you still most of the time don't compare to like the best in the NBA, if that makes sense. So I think I'll just give you a really cliche one here and say Cooper Flag, but that's relatively boring because I'm sure that's most people's answer. But I'm excited. I think he has a really, really high ceiling and a bright future. So I'm gonna go with him for now. Okay, last one. Yeah, I think so. Okay, most improved player. This is gonna be relatively obvious, but it feels like it goes without saying that Michael Porter Jr. needs to be in this conversation. Absolutely. I mean, he went from averaging, 16 to 20 points in his final season with Denver, now averaging around 25. He's sitting around 49% from the field. You saw an increase in rebounds from him per game, assists from him per game. It's a much better fit for him in Brooklyn, and you're seeing it on a very, very consistent basis. So it feels right to say most improved player would be Michael Porter Jr. Honestly, for the month of December, given the time frame that we're in right now, you could also make a case for Jamal Murray because we normally don't see from Jamal what we're seeing from Jamal until the playoffs, and now we're getting it in the regular season. So you could make a case for Jamal being improved in his own way, right? If you're looking at the last few seasons, you can make a case for Aaron Gordon and how he's improved as a shooter. I mean, there's a lot of ways you could go with this, but it does feel wrong to not give the credit to Michael Porter Jr. Also, Austin Reeves, right? But then you can make a case and say, did he really need to improve? He's always kind of been great, but he really had to step up to the plate when LeBron was out, and him and Luka have been such a great combination with one another. So yeah, there's a lot of ways you could go about this, but I'm going to go Michael Porter Jr. just because it is such a jump from what we saw from him in his last season with Denver. Obviously, there were some injuries there, so there were different things going on, but I would say most improved player, you got to give some credit there to Michael Porter Jr. So Okay, you guys, that does it for today's show. This has been presented by none other than Landmark Lincoln. I say it every show. Proud new owner of a Lincoln Nautilus, could not love my car more. Make sure you guys head to their location off of Bellevue and Broadway to figure out why they have been the #1 Lincoln dealer in Colorado for as long as they have. I joined the Landmark Lincoln family, and you should too. Go head to their location and check them out. This has been another episode of Mood Swings with Liv Moods. I'm Liv Moods signing off until Friday. We will be back Friday, 4 p.m. Mountain Time for another episode. Thanks for hanging. Happy holidays and a happy new year, and we will see you guys on Friday. See ya.